Good evening, everybody. I'm J.I., and to my right is,
Your boy Richie Rich is in the building.
and to the left is,
Scott T back in the house.
and on the screen we see,
Mr. Dearest Teddy.
and we would like to welcome all of you to the Grown Man Clique podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, today's show is called The Designs of the Time. We have two special guests that's supposed to be joining us, one via the airwaves, one is going to be in person. They told me they're on their way, so we'll be seeing them soon. But you know how we start our night off. We always start it off with a toast for the most to make sure that we get our day off right. So glasses up,
Yeah.
clink,
Boom.
clink,
Clink.
clink,
Yeah.
What up?
Right there.
and to a good show. Mm. I needed that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man.
Brought to you by the good people at Swamp Water.
Hilarious.
So anyway, let's start it off the way we normally do. Big Rich, what did you do this weekend?
Man, I was chilling out Virginia this weekend, man.
Okay.
I had a nice little weekend. I went to go see Wakanda Forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do no spoilers. I ain't gonna do no spoilers for nobody that ain't watching.
Was it good?
I enjoyed it, is what I would say.
Excellent.
I enjoyed it.
Okay, well that's the way to go. I mean,
Yeah. That's all I would say. Wakanda Forever.
that's all you did was go see one movie.
But yeah. I mean, I did some of it.
What else did you do?
Some things I don't want to talk about, but I did.
All right.
I
Well,
enjoyed my time.
well, right quick, before we go on, I just want to welcome our first special guest of the night. This is Mr. Malcolm Staples, designer extraordinaire. How you doing, Malcolm?
Hey, Jerry, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. So you're here. In case you don't know, this is Rich,
Hey, Rich, how
in
you
the
doing, man?
building.
and this is my boy Scott.
Hey, Scott.
And
what's up,
also on the screen is my boy Dearest Teddy, the
What's up, bro?
Sophisticated Grizzly podcast. So we are tonight. The topic of the show is Design of the Times. And it was basically because you said you were going to be on for us today,
right.
and also we have Mr. Zorian Jomo is coming in, and he does designer jackets and stuff, so he's going to
Okay.
be in the house. So right now, what we do at the beginning of the podcast is we go around and find out what everybody did this weekend. So right now, we're going to move from Richie Rich over to Scott. So Scott, what did you do this weekend?
Laundry. Lots and lots and lots of laundry. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
You shot this weekend.
Yeah, but mostly laundry.
Okay. So Teddy, what you do this weekend, Grits?
Fragrance related, bro. Got a new fragrance in. Shopping for some more. Got another one coming in probably this week. So, yeah, I got a problem, bro. I got a big problem.
Uh-oh.
All right. Shopping is a habit.
Sharon is Karen.
So,
I share a location with you.
Malcolm, what was your weekend like? What did you do this weekend, Malcolm?
Well, I've been hustling, doing a lot of photo shoots and stuff like that. But this weekend I had to go make some money. How about that? So
That's always good.
I had to go meet up with some clients, the ones who pay. So I fitted a couple of guys. I got 2 prom clients that started early, and then I have a wedding client coming up. So I went and did some measuring and looking through some fabrics and trying to look and do some work for these clients that are coming up. So I spent my weekend doing that.
That's what's up.
Mhm.
So
I
I
know
would like
this guy,
to,
man. I know this guy.
huh?
I know this man.
You do?
I do know Mr. Zorian.
You know Mr. Z?
Yes, I do know Mr. Zorian.
Hey, now.
Cherie's adult party, rubbing on the knee.
You cut the box on?
Are you on? Yeah, I believe so.
No, it's license on.
Let me see. No, you live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
See.
So
30 seconds, he already got it popping. Let's go.
yeah, he already got somebody knowing who he is. So anyway, to everybody, this is one of my good friends for a long time. We've known each other since high school, and that yeah. So he just recently, well, within the last few years, he became a model, and within the last year or so, he became a designer. So he's actually, I'm gonna let him tell you a story, just like I'm gonna let Malcolm tell you a story. But before we go that far, what did you do this weekend?
Me?
Yeah.
I was off Friday for the holiday. I shot up to New York, did a little bit of shopping. Saturday, I had acupuncture, and then Saturday night,
You messed the
myself.
acupuncture up.
Yeah, Saturday night.
He messed the acupuncture
What did
up,
I do
people.
Saturday
So
night?
he's
I know
got to go
I
back.
did something constructive Saturday night. I can't remember Saturday. And then yesterday, a very, very good friend of mine just recently bought a house. A lot of us went over there, you know. So
Housewarming.
All right,
So,
congratulations.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was a pretty decent.
Man, nah, this the grown man Clique. He said, I did something constructive Saturday. This is the grown man Clique. We ain't letting that slide. Come on, dog.
Let it out. Let it out. Let it out. It was something. What was her name?
Yo, you see, he hit his knee 3 times. He said, I did something constructive Saturday.
I just can't remember what it was.
Well, as for me and my family and what I did, let's see. So, as you know, if you didn't know from the last week was a like whirlwind pyramid because I acquired the new space that you see here. Some of you haven't seen it yet, but we did it last week. We did the podcast up here. So most of my time was spent, cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. And I had a couple shoots and I cleaned some more. Had a few more shoots and I cleaned some more. Watched a little bit of football, cleaned some more.
Right.
And I cooked.
There you go.
And I ate about 3/4 of the cake that Grizz made and brought over. That was good. That caramel apple cake. Oh my God, the boozy cake. It was good. So, that's about what I had. Can somebody go on Facebook and tell us who's on Facebook? I'm sorry, I don't have it up.
I don't know my phone now.
Okay, what?
I had it. I got
Anyway,
it. I got it.
so what I want to do is first, because like I said, the show is called The Design of the Time. So what I want to do is I want to actually have you, Malcolm, go first. Marcy's in. So and just give us a hey Marcy, how you doing?
Hi guys.
Hey, Marcy.
She's not a grown man, but she's here every week and we love her. Marcy, what did you do this weekend? I think I know, but what did you do?
I recuperated from New Orleans.
Ah.
And I went out with the girls. We had a girls' night out since they couldn't make the trip. We had a girls' night out. It was fun.
Hey, Steve and Anthony, two amazing photographers, are joining us on Facebook. What's up, guys? You can also say hi to them too.
What's up,
So
guys?
that sounds like good because you look like you were having fun in Louisiana. You gave a play-by-play description. So
Listen,
yeah.
I did things that Marcella came out last week.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my
Oh,
goodness.
damn.
Story time with Marcella.
Is it story time yet? No,
Story time with
not
Marcel?
yet. But look, I know a couple pickles got gutted.
Hey.
Oh my lambs!
Where
That's a running joke. That's
Base
a running
is
joke.
mad.
A couple pickles.
Yeah, where
Base
is
is mad.
Where is base when you need them? But anyway, so
Wait a minute,
huh?
Yes,
There they
sir.
go.
Yes, sir.
So
Now, Base was in New Orleans this weekend too, right?
I don't know.
Base wasn't there.
Don't play into that, Marcy. He's picking.
Oh.
So anyway, let's. What
If
I wanted
starting
to do.
shit was a person.
So anyway, what I wanted to do was give Malcolm and then Zorian a little time to tell us about their journey and in the fashion world and how they got to where they are right now. So Malcolm being the elder statesman, I mean, like if you've probably seen his stuff on magazines, you've probably seen some of his stuff on YouTube and Facebook pages, and not even known that this man was right from our area, blazing trails for young designers who, and especially the models and all who, and I mean, just why don't you tell them a little bit? Go ahead, Malcolm.
Well, one of the things Jerry didn't say, I mean, we shoot a lot in his studio, and which is a wonderful situation. I'm originally from Michigan. I've been living in D.C. for about 20 years, and I kind of got started in a non-traditional way. I was reluctant. I went through the business route. I thought I was going to make a lot of money. Well, which I did. I was making a lot of money doing something, but I wasn't really happy. And about 12 years ago, I decided to do what I was already trained to do. I mean, I learned how to sew when I was 7 years old because my grandfather forced us to learn a skill, and so everybody else in my family relented when he passed away. They went in a different direction. I was the only one who stayed with it. So after I left the company and decided to do my own thing, I just went full force. I started out designing clothes for professional football players. My nephew was
Oh,
playing
wow.
with the Steelers at the time,
Nice.
and he brought four guys that had just signed big contracts, and those guys served as my first clients. So I came out to shoot designing custom suits for four guys. I made 60 suits for those guys.
Wow.
And that's how I
Wow.
started my business. I came out to shoot so hard I got scared because I made more money than I made in 6 months and I made in the whole year. I said, well, this is
Wow.
crazy. This is not going to last. It can't last at this rate. If it does, I chose the wrong profession for 20 years. I was in the wrong thing. So it was how I started. And then I morphed into doing a lot of the fashion show stuff, and then the publishing stuff came together. I've been involved. I've been a writer for some magazines and stuff like that. So I've had like a full circle experience. And lately, it's been the publishing side has been a major thing. I've gotten so many models published on magazines, national as well as international magazines, and it's been good stuff. And like I said, I've worked and used Jerry's studio several times, so he can take a lot of credit for a number of models we've gotten published that's shooting right there in that studio, shooting with
Well,
some of
well,
his
wait a minute. Yo, hold on, Malcolm. Don't get that credit to me. You are working with an amazing photographer that works out of my studio.
Yeah.
We got to put it out there because he is working with Chris Chris, what's his last name?
King.
Cantrell. Yeah. So Chris, but I know him as cameraman CLP, and he works out of here.
Yeah.
And you guys have an amazing relationship, and y'all work really great together.
Yep.
And I like watching you guys work because you're so symbiotic in your relationship. It's almost like you feed off of each other, that energy that y'all create.
Yep.
And that's why what do? I usually go in my office and
Yep.
just get out the way because I
If
mean,
you
y'all,
watch Jerry, Jerry a quiet assassin. That the stuff. Don't get it twisted. He a quiet assassin. He go up in that office. Then you go and look up on his walls, see all that stuff he's done. See, I know how that works. So
Yeah,
but don't let
until
Jerry
he
fool
snorted.
y'all. Okay, I know how that works there, buddy.
Until he snorted just now. That was new. That was new. I ain't never heard that one before. I said, wait a minute.
Wow.
Yeah, me and Scott just looked at you and was like, all right, who's gonna let that go?
what's up, John?
You gonna pretend like you didn't hear
How
that?
you doing, John? I'm pretending like they're not talking about me. I'm just gonna give you one of these.
It's all love.
Lee.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, the next thing you need to load us up is like, that's what we do out here. You shot.
Well, anyway,
Shit.
let's move on over to my man Z. So, talk a little bit about your fashion journey, man.
First thing, Mr. Staples, salute. Second thing, I would really like to do some work with you because I want to get published. I mean, is that something you can help facilitate?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Let me just say one thing about that before you get into your talk. But yeah, this whole publishing thing is a very interesting animal because no one really tells us what the processes are in order to get published in these magazines, and they all have rules. And I've studied it over 2 years during the pandemic. That's all I did.
Huh?
Everything there.
What the hell?
Can y'all hear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
This
Okay,
happens
no,
all.
for 2 years, what I did is I just studied how and what these magazines are looking for in terms of submissions. And so during that time when things were slow, I just started to beef up that. And as a result of that, just been able to come up with a strategy about how to submit to these magazines because they're looking for great work. If you do good quality work and you have high res stuff, and you really stay within your lane and be original, these people love it. We think about internationals as people over in Europe and all that stuff. They think about us as the internationals, and so
Gotcha.
we bring a lot to the table that we sometimes kind of water down. Don't think is seen as effectively, but it is. And so, yeah, I would love to work with you, bro, in terms of some ways and in ways we can collaborate on some things. I would love that.
Outstanding. Thank
And,
you, sir.
and see, that's the community we have here. Like a lot of studios and a lot of places you go to, it's every man for himself, dog eat dog. Whatever I got is for me.
Yeah.
And when you do stuff like that, you're not allowing the art process to happen, because in every artistic community I've ever been in, no matter whether it's been for plays, music, whatever, the ones that are successful are the ones that share and grow
Yep.
with each other.
Right,
Yep.
right.
When you like in your corner going, I'm good, you're not allowing the process to work.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
go ahead and Z, let me hear something about this.
My story is not as diverse and deep and long as Mr. Staples. I'm gonna tell you a joke that's actually a bit of a joke, kind of true. 3 years ago, I was at my mother's birthday party, and I have a cousin who calls himself the family archivist. So of course he's the paparazzi taking pictures of everybody, and he showed me one of the pictures, and I said, "Wow, that's not a bad picture." He said, "Yeah, Zorak, it only took you 50 years to get handsome." Fuck you, Daryl. Anyway, I kind of took that, thought about it a little bit. At the time, I was working with this young lady in Northern Virginia. She's a designer out of PG County. Her name is Kiana. Her brand is Loyal Leo. I kind of thought about it, and I said, just as a joke, "Hey, Kiana, let me take some pictures for you." She said, "I'll go one step better. I'm having a show at a museum in DC, and I want you in it." Well, I've never been one to back, but I said, "Yeah, sure." But I had never modeled before. I have a very good friend of mine who used to model. I called him, told him the situation. I met this dude in a laundromat. In between washers and dryers, he showed me how to catwalk. So I took that, added my little swag to it a little bit. I did that show and went over really, really, really well. So I took that momentum. I did some shoots with Jerry. This was pre-COVID. This was 2019. I literally only been in the business for 2 years. COVID kind of shut things down a little bit. And then, matter of fact, that year, one of my closest friends was supposed to get married. He postponed it until the spring of 2020. I went to Miguel Wilson in National Harbor. That's where we were getting our suits and everything done. I looked up on the wall. I saw, models and things modeling the tuxedos. So I talked to the manager at the store, Vina, said, "Hey, I want to do some work for Miguel." He said, "Okay, he's having a show in the spring. I'll reach out to you for the model call." Went to the model call, did the promo video. That was May 2020. I know I've done at least 24 shows since then. I've been in New York Fashion Week twice. I've done shows in National Harbor, Northern Virginia, DC, Atlanta, and I'm doing a show, actually the show we talked about, local in Baltimore on December the 3rd. So the runway stuff kind of really, really, really took off. So I'm really loving that. Taking it one step further, I've always had, and to your point, Mr. Staples, an original, unique sense of style. So I figured, well, I spent so many years of my life trying to dim my light. Now it's time for my light to shine as bright as possible in all facets. With that being said, this jacket that I have on, this is the original Mr. Zorian Urban Viking collection. This is my original design, and I've got several designs, both men and women's clothes. So now I'm trying to promote my design because it's something that I think looks kind of fly and
Yeah.
something that I would wear. So I figure, let me just put that out there. If I can get a buzz, if other people want unique custom designs, then I'm gonna see if I can, actualize my vision. So
Yes. That's nice.
that's my story. Thank you, sir. That's my story in a
Hey,
nutshell.
can we clap that up? Like hit the button and clap that up, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
Hey,
I've got a seamstress local to Baltimore. She lives in Catonsville. And when I say she's good, this jacket started off as a regular denim jacket with fur panels. and I went with a specific vision. And I love a craftsperson that can bring a vision to life. And I told her specifically what I wanted and how I wanted it to look. And you see the end result. I couldn't have asked for anything better. And right now, I think I have 4 men's jackets and 3 ladies' jackets in my collection, and my collection is growing, and it's all custom and unique pieces. So, putting marketing behind that, but before long, you'll see the Mr. Zorian Urban Viking collection coming to a boutique near you. And that's
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up?
So, and this is the funniest part. It's like we've known each other for years, and I've been a photographer for most of my life. And when he came in, and he was like, I want to be a model. So we actually had an all male workshop where we had only men be models, which was rare because usually when you see workshops, it's always the girls willing to take half of their clothes off. And we did a male workshop. And it was one of the most successful workshops we ever had. And then he got to meet some other models like Indigo and I think you met Casanova Kelly, and it was one other person. Who was the other person?
No, those are only.
It was just you. Yeah. So I ended up calling them the Man Meat Brothers. 'Cause, they had the taco meat out. All of this was out, and I took a picture with them with my belly. But to be honest, it was like the beginning of, I didn't know it, but it was the beginning of him launching into what was the beginning of a fashion career. And what the same thing that happened with me happened with Malcolm, happened with Sophisticated Grizz, happened with you, and it's also happening with Scott. It's happened with him and a lot of artists.
Rich.
We do. I know your name. Anyway, we always. I know. But what I wanted to say is how we always kind of put our loves and what our passions are aside to make a living, and what we end up finding out is one day that we should have been making a living doing what our passions and love were the whole time, instead of giving people 15, 20 years of our lives to figure out what we were good at, or to figure out that we were better at being ourselves than being what they wanted us to be.
Exactly.
So, I'm not saying for anybody to quit their job and go out and try to be a mountain climber if you don't even know how to hold a rope. But what I'm saying is once you climb that first mountain, if you love it, then you decide what you're going to do.
I ain't gonna lie. I got a couple of people. I want them to quit their job and just be a mountain climber. I don't care if you know how to hold a rope or not.
You want them to fall. That's the problem.
I don't want them to fall. Just do something else is what I'm saying. Just do something else.
Yeah. And to that point, I think all of the artists in person and online can identify with, there's something about the courage to be authentic. And when you are your authentic self and allow your left creative side of your brain to really lead, you can really blaze some trails. And I think, unfortunately, most people don't have the courage or the wherewithal to be their authentic self and invest in that, and to see what type of light and beauty and art and aesthetic you can create. So I salute everybody, again, in person and online, that's being your authentic self and putting beauty in this oftentimes very, very ugly world. So I salute all you guys for that.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
I keep missing the applause button.
No, that's not it. Ain't it?
I got you, bro. I got you.
Okay, you know what? We agree what he just said. We agree what he just said.
You know what, man? I completely agree exactly with everything that you said, because, and this is shout out to the Pivot podcast. I don't know if anybody ever really watches that with Ryan Clark. I mean, the whole word pivot is exactly what a lot of us had to do at one point in our life. Like, we were doing something to just earn money, to make a living and all of that other stuff. And we put a lot of our passion to the back burner because, you know, somebody somewhere said that, you know, you need to hold on to this or do that because, you know, you don't know if this is going to work. No, you don't know if it's going to work.
Right.
No, I know what I can do, you know. So, and I've had people tell me so many different things that I can't do. I've had people tell me, well, you know what, man, I told people I wanted to write a book. Well, you know what, bro, you dyslexic. I'm dyslexic. He said, how you going to be able to write a book? I got 2 of them.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hit the right button. Hit the right.
Damn, John.
Hit the right button. Hit the right button.
Somebody over there dyslexic too.
Oh, that's it.
But no, I had people tell me that.
Bear with us. We getting it together.
Yeah. But I had people tell me, you know, because I've never had any kind of podcasting experience, I didn't even have the equipment to do it. It was like, well, you know, how you going to do a podcast? I took me and my best friend and 2 cell phones, and now I got my own Sophisticated Grizzly podcast. So I tell people, don't let other people get in the way of the vision that God has for you. Because that's what he put in you. He didn't put it in them. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of the times it's not the best thing to tell everybody what your vision is. You can tell them your dreams all day, but you tell them your vision because your vision is planned out for you. And God put the plan in you. He didn't put it in them. He put it in you so that you can actually act out, move forward, and make the plan happen the way that you need to.
Hey,
So
before we move on, let me just say hi to a couple people. I see we got Red Lipstick Bob's podcast is in the house. Hey, what's up? Red Lipsticks. Hey, I got it right. And I see Wise Francis. He's on there. Scott and Anthony have been on there for a while, so that's what's up. So and that's true. You know, we always, you know, get people to tell us what we can't do, and they don't know what we can do.
Right.
They can't they don't know what's in your psyche and what's in your makeup.
And you let them feed you, and then you end up not doing what you're supposed to do.
Right. So I mean, just the creative energy between Malcolm and Zorian, you know, where their path started, because what he does for a living is nowhere near artistic. It's just business.
Right.
And you said you came strictly from a business background, Malcolm, and
Yep.
that's what I mean. That's crazy how artistic abilities are just stifled for so long, and then. But I known you to be a talented brother all the way
And see,
back,
that's the crazy part about it, Jerry.
because you played the drums, you
Drums,
danced,
dance, and act.
everything.
About 5 years ago, I had an epiphany in as much as I was doing all right, the money that I make, but it wasn't in any way fulfilling. And then I realized I wasn't using the left side of my brain. I wasn't using my artistic side of my brain, the
Right.
things that I grew up doing, the things that I'm so passionate about. So then I jumped out. I was in a couple of musicals. I wrote a children's book. You know, I said, okay, this feels kind of good to start to produce some things.
Right.
And then, like I said, I didn't get handsome till I was half 100, but then I took that and I ran with it. So yeah, after just stifling all that creative energy for so long, it's like, let this blossom and let's see what can be produced from this, how I can inspire with this inherent stuff that's in me. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, luckily, I didn't get caught out there into the corporate world too bad, because I always tried to find something that would allow me to be creative. Thus, the company that shall remain nameless. Although I was doing photography on some level,
That company.
although I was doing something that felt creative, it wasn't as fulfilling as when I said, you know what, baby, I need to leave this job. And she was like, it's about time.
Okay.
But you got to have cheerleaders too. Because when you said you wanted to do it, you came to me. I said, come on, get in front of the camera.
Absolutely.
You always have to have someone who's going to help you, who's going to believe the buy-in and give you the buy-in that you need to go forward. And, you know, Malcolm had the Pittsburgh Steelers teammates who decided that his clothes was sharp. said, "Yo, you get one of Malcolm's suits, you gonna look like a broke dick dog. You need to get one of them." And then next thing he knows, he made more than he made at his daily job.
Hey, shout out,
Hey,
shout
look,
out,
can I say
shout
one
out
thing?
to them brothers, Malcolm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me
You know, you got Ravens guys over there.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
just
got
gonna,
to get why
I'm
you
just
the
gonna
Baltimore
let that
guys.
go.
I got to remember that one. I'm in the house with the Baltimore people. But look, let me just give y'all a nugget here. A few years ago when I started my business, I mean, you know, once I got started, I made a decision that I wanted to get as much visibility as I can get, and I couldn't think of anything that was out there. There was no group, there was no marketing plan, there was no commercial, there was nothing I could do that was going to get the kind of coverage or generate the kind of energy I needed. So what I did is I took a risk and I purchased an ad in Black Enterprise magazine,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And that when I bought that one month ad, back in the day cost me $24,000, right? Now my wife thought I was an idiot, you know, that I was going to take this money, invest it into me, put an ad in this magazine, and hope that I get some residual. Well, I was scared too, and I did it, but I mean, it took a while. I said, well, I'm gonna go ahead because at the time, Black Enterprise magazine had 1.4 million subscribers.
Right.
And so I'm thinking, there's nothing I can do that can get that many eyeballs on anything I do at one time. So I took the risk.
Right.
And, but what happened was 3 months later, I made all my money back. And then I never looked back from that ad that I got customers from. And one of my customers that came from that ad, and you all probably know this guy, his name is Bishop T.D. Jakes.
Oh, my land.
Oh wow.
Never heard of him.
I did
I'm
Bishop
sorry.
T.D. Jakes clothes for 5 consecutive years. I'm gonna tell y'all how y'all know it's my stuff. I did everything when he started wearing his beard. From there until now, that's my stuff. Anything before the beard, I had nothing to do with.
Wow.
Wow.
So you saying he didn't want
And
to
I
Right.
got
but
him.
once he got the
And the
beard,
strange
he
thing
wanted
is,
more
I got him as a
he got the
client.
beard, he said,
I got him as a client
Right.
through another preacher that's here in D.C. who happens to be his best friend from 40 years ago, and they both were from West Virginia. A lot of people think he's from Dallas. He's from West Virginia. And I met his best friend who introduced me to T.D. Jakes, and then I started doing work for him, and the rest is history. And so for 5 years, I did probably about 95% of his work.
oh,
Wow.
And then I
Oh
moved on.
wow, that's
I'm
amazing.
just saying, I share that only because in terms of taking risks, had I not done that, in hindsight, you never know. But if you don't do that, you don't know it. And I remember
No.
Steve Harvey made one comment, and I'll let y'all go. He said one
Oh
thing
no, you
about,
good.
he said, he said, if you want to be great, and this is something it was very profound to me. He said, if you want to be great, you must be willing to jump without a parachute. And you don't know if somebody's going to be there to catch you.
Right.
Now, hell, that's a pretty profound statement because when I spent that money in my head, I said that money's gone. I just gave it away, because I
You just
didn't know.
expecting divorce proceedings and everything after spending that money.
Yeah, because it was crazy. But the strange thing about it was the quality of customer that I end up getting as a result of that. And that one guy who introduced me to TD Jakes, he was the first guy who called me when he saw the ad. He noticed that we had the same last name and we weren't even related. And he said, "Look, come over here. I want you to make some clothes for me." And so what I did was every 4 weeks he would do a suit order for me. I did that for 2 straight years. Every 4 weeks he had a standing order for me. And then one time I came over, he said, I want you to introduce you to somebody. Went down to the Gaylord Hotel in the National Harbor, went to the penthouse. And
it was
that's
that
where
old
TD Jakes was, and that was how I connected with this dude.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
and I need a suit.
Yeah, I mean, and it was crazy with
My
him because
brother.
this dude was serious about his clothes. Like, now he didn't dress like that until I got with him. I shouldn't say that, but I had to make a shift. Brother had some problems. Brother was too big and too dark and too wide and wearing them loud colors. And I had to let him know. I remember the first time I met him, he asked me, "Well, tell me what you think." I said, "Well, first of all, you got the wrong balance." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, your jackets are too long, your pants dragging on the floor, you wear some light colors, you're too black, you got big stomach. We got to do something about this." Now he looked at me like I had 3 eyeballs, but he respected what I said because I had a plan. And so once I kind of showed him how I thought he could morph into a different look or a better look, he resisted at first because he was so caught up into this. I don't know what he was wearing, but this zoot suit look and big wide pants. And I'm like, man, nobody gonna do that.
That was I guess the year 2000 preacher look.
Yeah, he was
Everybody
doing.
was wearing
He was doing
them
that, and
extra
then
long jackets and the
Yeah.
big
well, you know what?
wide
Let me tell you
legs.
what. I'm gonna tell you what happened and what really sold him with me. His wife told him after I started working with him. He said, "Honey, you look like you lost 20 pounds."
Wow.
And to him, that was like the magic drug or something. I don't know, but the
Right.
fact is, all he did was he changed his clothes and made the clothes look better because they fit him
More
and they were
tailored.
tailored. And so
Yeah.
he started to trust it more. And so he gave me full reign for a while, and I was working with him, and he has a lot of options. So I got most of his work for about 5 years. So I felt like I was the one who won, and so
Absolutely.
Yeah.
that was a good thing.
Yeah.
Family on the shoulders of giants.
Can you make me a suit that is helicopter oil proof? Because when I get on my helicopter, I need something that rolls right off.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you.
Hey, when you told that nigga he's so ugly.
Yeah, but we all got our stories, you know. That's my testimony about taking risks, man. Because if you don't
Yep.
believe in what you do, man, nobody else will. So, and the
Yeah.
ultimate test is, like I said, to do something when you don't really know. Like I said, I was in a job and I called it the golden handcuffs. I wasn't going nowhere because
Right.
the
Right.
money was too good, the benefits were too great. I mean, you had the seniority and all those things, but you wasn't happy. So
Right.
they figured that, well, as long as you get this money and got these benefits, you're not taking off and going anywhere. And you wake up one day and say, hey, is this it? This is all I'm going to do?
Yeah.
So I made a decision 12 years ago, 13 years, and I said, I'm going to do my own. And I left.
Outstanding.
And
Outstanding.
I'm knocking on wood and I'm still rolling, still in it.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question though?
Uh-huh.
What do you think of Steve Harvey suits?
Well, Steve Harvey, this is one of the things about Steve Harvey. So this is the funny. I met Steve Harvey actually through TD Jakes at one of his Woman Thou Art Loose events years ago. And Steve Harvey, he did something smart. He was making suits that he wasn't wearing, right?
Mhm.
So he would have his suits in stores like K&G and Burlington and places like that. He wasn't wearing that stuff.
No,
He
he
started
wasn't.
getting his stuff tailor made after that. But they bought up his contract and he was making money off his little King's clothes for little kids and his women's clothes. People don't realize he made more money off the women's clothes than he did the men's stuff. And those people gave him a buffer to make money, and he was getting $5, $6, $7 million a year from K&G menswear just for having this stuff in the store.
Wow.
He morphed into a more sleeker look than what he used to, because he was the kind of the poster child for the wide leg pant and long jacket. That's what
Yeah.
Steve Harvey-
Absolutely.
that's
With the
what
Yeah.
pleats in the
Jakes was
front.
doing.
Yeah.
And so that it's kind of interesting. So from a business standpoint, he made a killing off a visual that he stopped wearing because he wasn't wearing those suits that he was selling K&G after a while.
Right.
So
Never would have made it.
yeah.
Want to say what's up to Brian Keith.
What's
How you
up,
doing?
Brian? We
And
also
Mr.
got
Mr. He said.
Mr. He said from the Harris Tribe Media Group. What's up? How y'all doing? Always happy when Mr. He said drops through. If you get to check out his barbershop show on Saturdays, you'll get a wealth of knowledge, man. So definitely glad you're in the building. And also, let's not miss Miss Red Lipstick. It's all about discovering your purpose. So that's the key, discovering your purpose. So,
Absolutely.
is there for you, Z, going into where you are now?
Yes, sir.
Are there anything in the future that you want to go into as far as your designing? Where do you think it's going to go from here?
Okay, the initial phase, the initial iteration are these designer jackets.
Right.
I was at a show in October in Atlanta. I met this one cat out of Ohio. And one of the things that I seek to do, I seek to network, I seek to make great connections, but I find inspiration in a lot of different places and a lot of different people. I met this one dude, he had some outstanding stuff, but he kind of got my juices flowing a little bit. With that being said, when I'm on the runway, and I'm gonna show you this, Jerry, you'll be the second person I showed. When I'm on the runway, I'm known as the fashion assassin because I kill this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Hold 1 second, brother. Now I got a logo.
Uh-oh.
Fashion Assassin. So I got that logo there. I got
Yep.
that logo there.
All right.
I got that logo there.
Okay.
I'm gonna start branding my stuff. So I'm looking at
Bro, don't show us. You gotta show the
Yeah,
camera.
we want to see.
The people
y'all ain't
want
ready.
to see.
Y'all not ready. Just let me bust
What?
out with it first. Y'all not quite ready. I want to share with my man, get his opinion first. We're still in the building phase.
Okay. All right.
But I'm looking at, of course, I'm gonna start with t-shirts. Everybody starts with t-shirts.
Right.
Right.
And then leisure wear, but I can see this on a sweater or a custom turtleneck.
Yeah.
I can see that on a brand on the
Mhm.
side
of
a
it,
pair of shoes
yeah.
or something like that, a belt, and then that's going to be the slick line for the more upper echelon kind of stuff.
Right.
So the fashion assassin, and unlike the Steve Harvey story, the type of things that I want designed are the type of things that I would wear. Because
Right.
I'm a firm believer that fashion is a risk, but I would jump off the porch and be fly as a falcon and make people see, wow,
Right.
main man is doing it. I like the way he look. I like the way he carry himself,
Right.
because you feel how you look. And if you in something fly and custom, it's going to make you stick out your chest a little bit more. It's going to allow your light to shine a little bit brighter. So the long answer to your question, I'm going to put out the type of designs of things that I myself would wear.
Okay, cool. Let me give you these questions. This is for you and Malcolm. Designers, we're seeing an increase in social media platform costs. Are you maintaining your customer base, or are you seeing a movement, or are you considering a move yourself?
For me, well, the pandemic taught us all a lesson. I mean, think about it. A lot of folks who had brick and mortar during the pandemic, a lot of them didn't make it because those doors weren't open, and those people that they were relying to come through those doors didn't make it. And so, and many of them didn't have a strategy in terms of how do you make it when people don't come through your doors, and it's not because you open, it's because people and the buildings are saying you can't open up a door. So for me, I think I became more nimble. Like, I'll give you a prime example. During the pandemic, I started doing these little goofy Facebook Lives. Now, I hated Facebook Live, but at the time, everybody was at home and everybody had access, and people would come on Facebook Live before they would do anything else. So I started selling suits on Facebook Live. I couldn't even believe it. And I was making money off Facebook Live. And then because people weren't coming out, and you couldn't meet folks, and you couldn't go to their places, they wouldn't come to you. Hell, I started finding some spaces on the way where people can stop on the way from home. I would go to Krispy Kreme. I would go to Union Station. I would meet people on the way, because people in D.C., when they leave D.C., they ain't coming back in because they work there, but they don't live there. So you had to find ways to meet people where they were in order to be relevant. I didn't give a damn what it looked like in terms of what the facade looked like. I was selling a suit in Krispy Kreme. Who cares? I don't care if it smelled like donuts in there. If somebody want to come in and we standing at a Krispy Kreme, and that's where I can fit them and do whatever I'm gonna do, you got to make money. And then my reality was you got to be nimble. So I see an increase in terms of productivity, because I'm more willing to go where folks are versus waiting for somebody to come to me. That little situation don't work. When people got options and people don't want to come out and they don't want to do things because of a pandemic, you got to be mobile. And so I didn't see a drop off. In fact, I saw a pickup in terms of my business, because I was still able to maintain some sense of business, because I went out and tried to generate the business.
Okay. I'm taking notes, Mr. Staples. I'm taking notes.
Well, I'm gonna give this one to our senior statesman, Mr. Staples. You getting the questions today. Our viewers are coming they are really interested. What advice do you give to the emerging designers? What advice would you give to an emerging designer?
Find a lane. I know people say it all the time. Find a lane, stay there, and master a lane. And if you can master a lane, other things will get added to your lane. I started out doing men's suits only. I did not have any interest in working and doing women's clothes, because it was just too much of a hassle for me. But that was stupid, because what happened was I started doing women's suits, and my business changed. So I had more women's clients than men. So I had to change my whole outlook, because the marketplace said, look, if you want to make some money, you better start making some clothes for women. So I think that you have to find a lane, stay in it, and just master what it is, because like in anything, as a designer, you have to be good at the basics. If you don't master the basics, you cannot be good at it. if you don't know how to sew properly, you're not going to last in this business. You got to know what you're doing in order to build on that kind of a situation. So that's what be my little advice to anybody coming into this game.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask you this because I know that you've designed for both men and women, Zorian.
Yes, sir.
Does your approach differ when designing menswear compared to the women's wear that you design?
I don't know that the approach differs. It's more just adjusting the vision, meaning I want it to be edgy. I want it to be custom. I want it to be something somebody do a double even triple flag. Wow, check that out. But I want the men's stuff to look like something men would wear.
Right.
Conversely, the women's stuff look like something uber feminine and sexy. For example, this jacket, this is the Killmonger, but I also got the lady Killmonger, similar design, but it's a crop top jacket. It's fitted, it's much smaller. The collar isn't as big, still as edgy, still as custom, but clearly it's cut and made for a woman. So
it got a little bit of Mbaku.
that's what I'm going for.
Okay,
Got a little bit of Mbaku.
Listen to this boy over here.
As a matter of fact, if I can,
You know this. Let me just say that while you're pulling it up, I did a lot of extensive research on you guys, and I have your pictures of your stuff in this computer, but Facebook and StreamYard will not let me be great because they don't allow images to come up. I can only do video, or I can share the screen, and if I share the screen, then I can't see what you're seeing.
That's Jay.
Yeah, and that's one of the pictures that I pulled up, because if you notice at the bottom of the screen, your name was at the bottom of the screen.
Maybe.
Yeah, hold on. Let's go to the guru.
No.
Hold on. What do I need to do?
All right, so there's right above where you show the videos. That's where it says images. So it allows you to show images.
Where?
So you see where it says wait a minute, I have to pull up StreamYard. 1 second.
It says present, right?
Wait 1 second, my brother. Hold on. We're gonna get them pictures up here.
Okay, because I have pictures of your work, Malcolm, as well as your work, Zorian.
Right.
You don't come to the Grown Man Podcast and we ain't do our homework. I've been stealing off y'all pages all.
No. Zeke, when I saw you, I was like, come on, get back on.
Yeah.
That was the inspiration for this one. And
I saw it.
A big brolic collar, just, you know.
So while we're waiting for him to pull that up, we have another question. How do influences from outside of the USA find their way into your work, or do they? Yours came from Wakanda, so.
I mean, kinda yeah, kinda no, but we all know our folks
Right.
got the most sauce, the most swag, and we're looked at from around the world.
Right.
So I turn inward to my culture, inward to my community, and I'm going from that vein. So at this early stage of the things that I'm doing, I'm not looking at international influence beyond bold, fashionable, cutting edge. That's about it. But a lot of this, I'm stemming from my own culture, at least for now. Not to say that I won't,
branch
adjust
off
and branch out and do things further down the line. But in my beginning phase, yeah, it's all about, the strength of my culture and putting that in a fashionable way.
Right.
Now, this is a question that I have for you guys. Do you feel that the fashion, you know how they say everything is reciprocal and it always comes back, but besides the textiles that you guys use, do you feel there are more advances that are going to come in the fashion world that's going to change the way we dress and how we present ourselves? I know that some guys are wearing the skirts or the skirts and stuff like that. I'm not talking about that aesthetic, but what I'm saying is that what is the next level for a creative designer such as yourselves when, men wear pants, women wear skirts to some extent. So that's sort of the dynamic you work with. How are you going to bring in the next level of fashion? Wow.
Well, I think it's all circular. I mean, I don't care where we go and where we've always been influenced by an era or a decade or whatever that happened before us. I still, most of my things that I do are all vintage inspired. and I try to elevate a vintage look with a more contemporary style. So I don't know if that ever ends. I don't know if that ever. It always kind of comes in a circle. I think we continue to be influenced by the changes of what we do in terms of our society. Now you think about we're in this very, very fast-paced social media era. I mean, everything is fast. Everything is so even clothing. I think is more minimalized because of the times that we live in. Because everything is a fast-paced thing. Where I think you have to be nimble. And I see more and more people using alternative fabrics. For example, you see people making stuff out of paper and other kinds of things that
Yeah.
traditionally wouldn't even be accepted as couture or high fashion or whatever. Now it's becoming the norm because it's I don't know, environmentally safe, or it's something that's a more
Like
acceptable
faux
because
leather and things
organic
like
or
that.
whatever. I think that everything just comes into a circle, and it's all um, influenced by the times. And
Okay.
weird social media and fast pacedness, I think, is changing the flavor of fashion at some level.
Did you guys see on Milan Fashion Week the dress that was
Spray painted.
sprayed on to the lady
How
while
amazing
she
was
was
that?
walking
Right.
down the runway,
How amazing.
and the designer actually formed the dress while she was walking down the runway, and by the time she hit the end of the runway the dress was finished?
Yeah, and that's what that's Jerry. That's really kind of kind of it's just one of those things that's happening in fashion that that whole concept and the whole thing with body paints and things like that that have kind of mushroomed itself into fashions. You see people now who are painting stuff on folks and they're calling it fashion, high fashion, and it's paint, and it's not even what we consider. From those of us who work with fabrics, some of us frown and say that's not fashion. It's just
Yeah.
like people who do stuff with t-shirts. Are they designers? Are they creatives? I mean, I think it's all art. Art is art. I don't care how you define it. Art is
Right.
art. But that's what's happening now. Things that we would have never considered as a fashion trend or whatever has just taken over.
Right.
Even if you think about the things somebody mentioned earlier, what kilts and things like that, or guys, and you see celebrities, you see the athletes, you see the singers, the entertainers. Folks are branching out and doing some of those things, and once it gets to the whole fashion thing where it becomes popular, people think it's okay. Now, those of us who are traditionalists, we probably won't buy into that because that's not something that we like, we aspire, or not our vibe. But
Right, right.
it's
I
influenced by
totally agree with
civilization.
Malcolm.
I
I
third that
totally
emotion.
I totally
Absolutely.
agree. What about the everyday just fashion guy, not the super
Yeah.
fly guy? Just the
Not the
everybody.
Z's, but the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
me's.
Well,
Not
Just
the
the
Z's, but the
just
me's.
yo,
Hey,
just the
let
everyday.
me just
Yeah,
say
hold
yeah.
this.
on.
Let me just
Real
say
You
quick,
this.
always
Hold on.
you are
Let me get it out.
always
Let me
real
get it
quick,
out. Let me get
real
it
sharp.
out.
quick. Hey,
Let me
Rich,
get
I'm
it out.
trying
What about the everyday fly guy? We ain't got time to go to school or work where someone's gonna spray paint our outfit on the whole
Yeah,
time
well,
before
again,
we
and
walk through the doors. Like we ain't got time for all that.
To
well,
that,
I think that's why these things always have a category called entertainment. I don't know if it ever becomes totally mainstream, but it
Right.
becomes entertainment. I mean, who's going to sit there and let themselves get sprayed on a runway, walk down the runway, do that? I mean, that's all entertainment. It's a wow factor to it, but
right.
in reality, it may not sell a lot in terms of that. You have to think about those of us in this business, like New York sets rules about what model sizes should look like. Okay, well
Yeah.
that's just not real. Hell, I got more
Right.
clients in size 12 than in size 2. I'm trying to eat, so I don't give a damn about size 2. I
Yeah,
I, I care about size 12 because they're gonna pay the bill. So
my
you
lady's
gotta
not
put
gonna
this in
let me get
perspective
spray painted
about
every
what
day
this
I walk
is.
into work.
I'm not spray painting nobody. They ain't paying nobody. That ain't paying no bills for me. But again, from the entertainment value, it's a great look. I mean, it's very creative. There's no question about it. It's a wow factor. But you got to think about who can I sell that to?
absolutely.
At the end of the day, like I said, when all the smoke clears, fashion shows, New York Fashion Week, magazines, and all that crap,
Right.
I'm trying to eat. And
Right.
whatever I'm making, I got to be able to sell it. And I remember going up to New York Fashion Week a couple times, and they say, "Oh, Malcolm, um, you have to use models that are size 0. I'm like, I don't even have clothes that can fit these models. So what the hell I'm going to go up there and try to do that? And it's not a realistic situation.
Right.
I think you have to understand and know who you are in this business. And if you have an interest in maintaining business, you got to know what you can do to sell your product and what's going to ultimately help you sustain yourself.
Right.
Excellent.
If I can,
I know how you can get the picture up.
Hold on for 1 second. I want to share your work if I can. What do I need to do?
Put it in overlay.
Where is it?
Overlay.
Where will I find that?
So go into brand where it says brand.
Huh?
Brand.
Okay.
So scroll down, you should see overlay.
Okay.
Now click onto the thing. Click on one of those open boxes, and it should take you to be able to go get the pictures.
Booyah.
Oh, we going? Okay,
And bring up the lady Killmonger, please. The one that Jay had.
I saw some other pictures, but
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's nice.
Thank you. That's the brindle. And if you can zoom in,
No.
okay, what you can't see on the brindle,
he go.
I got spikes around the waist because I fashioned that at the brindle pit. So it's got the stripes, the chocolate, the fur, and I got spikes around the waistline. So I want it fly and I want it edgy and I wanted the kind of stuff you're not going to see everywhere.
Right.
JB, go to my phone.
I like that.
Yeah, that's
Give me
nice.
1 second.
Thank you. And then the question that we had earlier, how do I make adjustments for women to men?
Because this is Malcolm's work.
Oh my
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh my
Sweet.
God.
Shot in Jerry's place. Hey, Jerry, look at that.
Wow, that's outstanding.
Oh, Shaq.
That's absolutely outstanding.
Let's see.
But yeah, too, once we bring up this other image, I'll show you how I keep the same vision, the same style. We are same vision.
Which one you want
The
to?
same flair. Give me this one. The same vision, the same flair. This is the Killmonger that I'm wearing now, and then the image you're about to see.
Come into the middle. Come into the middle so they can see the whole
Yeah,
jacket.
you can step in front of me. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's nice.
This is the
Show the jacket.
Killmonger right here, my first custom piece that I put together.
Yeah.
And then the image that just came up,
I
that was
love
the late Killmonger.
I love it.
So you see how it's very feminine, very sexy and appealing.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
you know, that same edge to it, but that's clearly a woman's look, and this is the masculine male version. So that's how, you know, I try to keep that same edge, that same style, that same flair, but make women's for women and men for men.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Bro, you pulled it off.
I appreciate that.
Well, you know me. I told you, like, this is Malcolm.
The
Good.
colors.
Wow.
That's fly, man.
Man,
Wow.
I mean, I didn't bring some people up here who didn't know what they were doing. I brought some people up here who are actually making moves in this fashion world. I mean, like, I feel like, you know, after working with Zorian and his collection and seeing the work, this is Malcolm, you know, seeing the work that Malcolm has been doing with Chris. And I mean, I just sit back in awe at the amount of real fashion that's being designed, created, and made right here in our area. It's not like they're taking other people's pieces and dressing them.
I know
They're
that's right.
actually creating their own picked
That one,
pieces.
no. Yeah.
Not that one, this one?
This one, yeah.
Okay.
This is the fuchsia is female.
So
as soon as it comes up.
thank you, Grizz.
No problem, brother.
Got me looking perfect. Every week he does something to make me look.
oh, I love that color. That soft, pretty color.
That's the fuchsia is female, and this, when you see it, has the spikes around the waistline. And
Is it
also,
denim?
I like my ladies to be edgy as well.
Is this denim?
That's denim and fur, yes, sir.
Oh wow, this is nice, man.
And I wanted to go with something.
Show the
that
one. Show the back of that.
you can dress it up, you can dress it down. Everybody wears denim. Everybody wants some fur. So why not custom put them together? And like I said, it's a eclectic, edgy enough look You can dress it up or dress it down, but I think they really make statements, and each one is
We do.
custom, so they're basically statement pieces.
Absolutely.
that's nice.
I love
Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And like I said, I'm blessed to have a
That's a
seamstress.
Malcolm piece.
That's so pretty.
Ooh-wee.
This one here was just on a billboard recently in New York. We did this this model here. She's currently now working for Wilhelmina Models. She just got a contract with them, and we shot her in New York, and we got a billboard recently on this one.
That's what's up.
Outstanding.
This is weird because this model is from Sudan, and when we shot her, we had so many restrictions because of her. She's a Muslim, and we couldn't remove the piece on her hair, and she had to cover up her neck. So I gave her this and put this on her, and we worked it out.
And look how it worked. I'm
Look how that worked
Beautiful.
out. Yeah, you
That's
are
beautiful.
a very high bar, Mr. Staples. A very
And
high
we do have more. This is great. I love the questions tonight. Do you have a song, book, or magazine that gets you ready to sketch or brainstorm?
Say that again, Jerry.
Do you have a song or a book or magazine that gets you ready to sketch or brainstorm?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I'm just influenced by. I mean, I'm influenced by so many odd things. I can sit there and be watching Star Wars or something pop up, and then you just see something how you can create a look based on something that's so off base.
Right.
A lot of my pieces are, like I said, are male inspired. You were talking about this earlier. So what I try to do is, I make when I make my women's suits, I don't make men's suits and put women in them because that don't work. I make suits for women's bodies and their shapes, and men can look at them and say, "I wish I had one of those." If they was being honest, but that's what I like to do. So I'm just inspired by the elements of things from men. Like you just saw that piece a little while ago with the red high neck ruffles. That's like men wear ruffle shirts. I just took that concept and put it on a woman's blouse and made it sexy. So I think it's how you get influenced by what you see. Like those are just big ruffles that I put on a nice fuchsia shirt in red. And so the color pop is just everything. And it's just a high neck blouse. You can wear that casually dressed up. She got heels on and keep it moving. I mean, it's really just that simple.
Like a Victorian.
It's kind of funny, and I just noticed it. Both of them work in about the same color palettes.
Yep.
Right.
The blues are similar, the
Yep,
fuchsias.
Yep.
So y'all, and maybe that's because of where fashion is right now, because I do know that, I'm an amateur stylist. You've seen my office, Malcolm, and you've seen it too, Zori. And I have clothes for everybody, and I actually style a lot of models that come in and work with me, but not on the level, of course, of Malcolm, because I come in and he'll have like, let me add this belt. I'm like, damn, I wish I had that belt. or he'll say, oh, let me get this, and it'll be one embellishment piece that he'll put on them that just sets it one step higher. And when you get to that level of refinement in what you do, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Refinement is a good word. I am not that good. My color palette comes from what I know complements melanated skin. So a lot of my style and my fashion comes from, damn, Z, what would I look good in? Or what would I like to wear? Or how can I really wow them? That's where a lot of my inspiration comes from. I may jot something down. I may call my seamstress when I'm really, really brainstorming. Hey, this is what I want to do. Write these notes, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, she's such a great crafts person. She can really make my images come to life. And I want vibrant, aesthetic, life-giving colors. So when you see a fuchsia, when you see a nice brown on a white, when you see a nice polka dot denim, it makes you feel a kind of way. It inspires something in you when you behold something that's aesthetically appealing. So I think the mix of those things is where, thus far, my that's the canvas that I try to paint on.
Cool. And we just have one comment and one new viewer. We have looks awesome denim and fur combo. So that's to you.
Thank you so
And
much.
then Eric Tucker. What's up, Eric? He's all the way down in what? 10 IC?
No, it's in brother Eric. He's in Dallas.
Dallas, Texas. Oh, that's right. You in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee. But it's kind of funny because when I create, most of the time I turn off music. Like when I'm creating like something, for myself, or if I'm editing and all that other stuff, I'm in the office with no music on, quiet, because it allows me to concentrate on what I'm seeing in front of me and getting that done. But on the other hand, when I'm actually photographing and I'm working with someone and I want to keep the energy and the mood up, I love music. And usually I tend to like get 2000 rap. 2000 rap seems to always keep people moving because they're like, I remember that song, like that was the golden age of mumble rap. But
No,
No, actually, that's
I know.
no.
Actually,
that
it
was
was just
before.
before mumble rap. It was
Guys.
Jay-Z. It was
Right.
Weezy. It was
I don't know why you said that.
Look at Rich. Look at Rich.
Yeah. It was a senior moment, okay, but it was a great time for me. Okay, here's another one for you guys, and I love this. The audience loves you guys. Lastly, laugh out loud. Would you see both of you on a designer collab? What you think?
Shit, I could be so honored to work with Mr. Staples. I'm gonna say, hell yeah. If I could be so honored. Yes, sir.
I welcome that, man. Let's do it.
Can you
know what?
imagine good jackets on his
Can
models
I do
and
something?
can you
I
do
got
what?
my collection in the car.
Uh-huh.
Can I run under the car and bring it up?
Sure.
All right. Give me one
Hold on,
second.
tell me. I get to wear some shit. Oh, hold on. I ain't got my knees out right now.
You had something
I
to
ain't got my knees.
accentuate the knees.
You got some denim shorts for me? I will put them on.
Just the
Don't
jacket.
put no damn shorts on that, man.
Okay.
I want to be a damn knees.
I was gonna get the views with something to
You
look
trying to
at.
accentuate the knees, Grizz.
Yes, sir. I know.
I was gonna
Yeah.
give the views something to look at.
Because the whole idea, and this is what I'm
Hey,
saying.
hey,
like,
you got a extra large. I like my jacket small. I like my
You know what, bro? Ironically enough, it's weird because like you know, I do the fragrance reviews and stuff, and I actually listen to classical music when I'm doing it.
okay,
Oh, wow.
but guess what? This is a great time for us to. You said you had a fragrance. Let me just bring him in. I'm not going to bring him in the way that I bring him in on his show
Oh,
because
bring
I'm
him in.
actually on the Sophisticated Grizzly podcast every Wednesday with my boy right there, Grizz. But what I want to do is like. I love the fact that we do stuff that you don't see on a lot of these other podcasts. We like refinement. We like culture. We like art. And Grizz is what I call a smeller. What do I call him?
Sommelier.
A
Sommelier.
sommelier. You know how you have a sommelier for your wine? He is a sommelier for fragrance. And he has one of the most extensive fragrance collections I know of. I got a lot, but mine trumps in comparison to his smellage. So,
Smelly.
Grizz, what do you have that you want us to know about today? What new fragrance did you want to bring to our palette?
Well, see, this is my second time getting into like the niche fragrance era. And if anybody knows anything about designer and niche fragrances, designer fragrances are by designer brands like Dolce and Gabbana and Carolina Herrera, things of that nature. But when you get into more niche fragrances, that's basically all they concentrate on is the fragrance. There's really nothing else in the wheelhouse of what they do outside of the fragrance, which allows you to get a higher oil concentration and things of that nature. The difference with the niche fragrances, because they're small batch fragrances, you're going to pay a little bit of money for them. So I have one that I just got, and the only reason I got it, because I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of these fragrances, you can bet the house on and put your mortgage on. You know what I mean? But this one, I just got this one on discount from Marshalls, and it's from the brand Mancera. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the brand Mancera, but it's a niche fragrance brand that has some of the finest higher oil concentrated fragrances out there. And this one is the one that I just got, which is Oud Vanilla.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
This one right here, and I sprayed it already. I wore it because I like to sit with fragrances before I try to talk about them and tell people about them, things of that nature. This one right here lasted about 10 hours on my skin.
wow.
So I'm gonna tell you the best that you can hope for, especially with a lot of designer fragrances, best you can hope for is 6 to 8 hours. That's a pretty long one. This was about 10 to 12 hours on my skin. Now, it's not a big, gigantic room-filling projector, but you will have a nice scent bubble, and people will notice you. So this is one of the ones, and this normally runs at about $260 a bottle. I got this thing for $78.
Wow,
Wow.
that's a bargain.
That's good.
Hey, check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Check
He
this
got
out.
us looking fancy up in here.
Oh,
Oh,
I want to be there. I want to try on a jacket.
oh, we out here. Come on, come on.
Oh, that's fly.
Oh,
And as you can tell, he is not a model.
ooh, ooh,
Or
don't lie to yourself.
Or dancing.
Knees. Ooh, what I got? What I got? What I got? What I got?
This is the blue nose.
Ooh,
So it's got the
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
gray, gray on the inside. Is my mic on?
Did you cut it on?
this is called the Blue Monger. Just in case y'all ain't hearing.
The one I got on, this is the Killmonger. This is the blue nose. This is the brindle. And you notice the
Show the
brindle. We got the spikes on the bottom here. We got the stripes turn
Oh.
around. So
I'm
you can
feeling that
on
brindle.
that one. And then let me show you the Hellraiser. This one right here. We got spikes on the
Yeah.
front. Turn to the
Yeah.
back. The whole back is spiked. This is the Hellraiser. These
Yeah,
are men's
yeah.
for the ladies.
Fire. This okay.
Wait a minute, we gotta get all three of y'all together in a pose. We gotta get all three of y'all together in a pose.
Here,
I'm here with it.
come back here.
Hold
so
on,
they
hold
can
on,
see
hold on,
you.
hold on, hold on. Time out, time out,
Come
time
back
out.
here. Come back
Time
here.
out, time out. Let me say something before we get to the women's, right? This is the first time I met this man. He literally looked at each and one of us and realized which jacket is for us. like that's some designer shit. Like he literally looked at us. He was like, "Hold up,
Because
you go
everybody
get the blue
knows
nose."
I'm a Hellraiser. Because look at my shirt. It says Revolution.
Boom.
See?
And you gonna tell me Scott don't fit this jacket?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And y'all gonna tell me the pit bull of this podcast,
Absolutely.
the blue nose. Come on
There
now.
we go. The
Come on
blue
now.
nose. And then for the men's jacket,
We
and then
here.
for the
He caught it.
ladies, I got
Calm down.
the lady
Come on.
Killmonger,
The pit bull.
the female version, the one that I have on. I got the fuchsia is female, the one that we saw in the pictures. And then my latest, this is the baby doll.
I
We
love
got
it.
the blue fur up top, the two-tone blue cuffs, and it's so distressed, looked like she just fell off a motorcycle. Because like I said, I wanted real custom and real edgy. So this is the look that I'm going for. This is the style, the aesthetic, that kind of smile that you guys got on right now. Like, damn, those things are kind of hot. That's what I'm shooting for.
All right,
That's
bro.
absolutely what I'm
Good
doing.
job. Yeah.
Let's ask you what's up.
Okay, so
Make one for a grizzly bear, brother.
right now, can we do this? Malcolm, can you tell them where they can get some of your amazing clothing from?
Basically, I'm on all the social media platforms, primarily Instagram. I'm on Instagram under Executive D1. I'm under Facebook under Malcolm Staples. Those are the two primary ways. Because I do custom, I don't have a e-commerce situation because everything I'm doing is more personalized. So you have to contact me directly, and then we can do that. But you can see all of my stuff or samples of my stuff on Instagram mostly in terms of that.
So if can you type a message into the text screen so they can see just it's Malcolm Staples, but you see his name on the screen. But the whole idea is that we want people to, we didn't bring you on here just to talk. We want people to know where to get your stuff and how they can get in touch with you.
Okay, I'll type it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Zorian.
Kind of the same thing. I don't have an e-commerce. These are all custom pieces. So if you reach out to me, Mr.Zorian1, Mr.ZORIEN1, reach out to me on Instagram and give me your sizes, what you're interested in, and we can turn around a really custom banger for you.
I got it.
Because this jacket is fire. I probably would only wear this twice a year. Because of I'm going to wear this when I'm going somewhere where I'm going somewhere. But when I come out in it,
Oh yeah.
You gonna know that I meant to look this
And I'm
good.
such a wild boy. I went to my daughter's first birthday party in the Hellraiser.
Look,
So
look,
I'm
look,
down
look,
because
look.
I'm a doer. This is what I do. This is what I wear. I do it for real. So I'm gonna jump out there in it.
AZ, I
Right.
gotta ask you,
Yes, sir.
when you gonna start making shorts?
Don't answer that,
Okay, I won't.
please.
When you gonna
You
start
want some
making shorts?
fun?
If I need this in a short,
Leave it.
I
I'm
need
gonna
this
leave it
in a
alone.
shorts.
Leave it
You
alone.
give me a good
You
short
need
set, I'm
cheese
still
it.
in the game.
If you start
You need cheese it.
Hey, listen. Yeah, all right. Yeah, the women gonna need Jesus when they
Tori,
see these knees.
Oh Lord.
Who
Tori,
said denim bear fur for me?
huh?
Listen,
Steve.
Steve Bennett. Yeah, he said
this.
denim. Steve Bennett is an amazing photographer too. So I mean, he's loving your stuff.
I
I
really
mean,
appreciate
you
that.
guys are dope. I didn't want to bring, like, if I had Malcolm on by himself, it would have been a great show. If I had you on by yourself, it would have been a great show.
But
But
together,
together, because you represent two different eras of the design culture, it makes it more relevant and it makes it feel like it's something that is tangible. When you know that I mean, Malcolm does some of the amazing high end stuff, and you're doing these amazing jackets on a high end level that just feels so comfortable. I mean, this is comfortable. I could get one.
Yeah.
Looking
And
good.
if I want to buy this, mind your business. I'm gonna wear this as much as I want. Fuck wrong charge.
Absolutely.
This shit
No.
is fly.
I recommend
So, but
that. Yes,
I first of all thank you both for coming in tonight.
sir. Thank you.
I don't want my show to be like anybody else's show. I don't want our show to be like anybody else's show.
it ain't.
We have had everything from adult entertainers to
Damn,
models
Yeah.
to now fashion designers, and all these shows have been amazing for their own right, and we've had great conversations and great dialect. I mean, this is what it's about. This is what I think a podcast should be. Everything. Because we talk about current events and we talk about health. We talk about everything. At some point, we talk about, mental health, awareness, anything that we can to make, the subject matter relate to the people that are in here.
Right,
But
right.
I mean, the night was a really cool show, and I knew it would be that way when I
Yeah.
got you two together. I wish all five of us was in studio together, because that would have been
Oh, my
crazy.
goodness gracious,
Because
yeah.
Bruh, I
Huh?
ain't even smoking this Fairfield.
oh my god, he likes the
Like,
jacket.
And it
look,
would be nice to set it.
oh my
Hey,
god.
hey, Zorian, get your jacket off that man. He touched me too heavily. I'm gonna cut it off on him.
Oh shit, sorry, who's coming that way?
Huh?
Typed in my
Okay. Uh, can I? Oh, I don't. Oh, here you go.
I don't mind.
So anyway, we are to the finish line for the most part. This show was amazing. I'm gonna give Z a chance to get his information up in
They
the
call
chat.
me jangling,
So,
jangling.
but you know, just to let you know, I already know what next week's show is gonna be about. We're actually gonna have Teresa Maribel, and she is a young lady who has different. Whoa, my mic's going out. She has a couple different businesses, but the thing that I really want her to talk about is the fact that she does gun training for good word, for women. She has a class called Guns and Pearls, and she does a lot of really good things with teaching women gun safety and how to take care of yourself, because you don't need a man all the time. Sometimes all you need is a 9. All you need
Sometimes
is
all you need is a jacket with the shit tucked. That's all you need.
so
God,
we're
God.
about to end right now, but if you want to hang out for a few minutes, panel, we're gonna go to backstage. That's where we're live, but the show's dead. I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight,
Thank y'all.
and
Nice seeing y'all, everybody. Nice meeting everybody. Look forward to working with y'all again.
all right,
Hang on in there for a second, Malcolm. Don't hang up
Okay.
yet.
all right,
I'm
y'all
here.
have a good evening. This has been the Grown Man Podcast. This is
I'm Richie Rich in the building.
And this is,
Scott T.
and I'm Jay, and we'll see you later. Have a good evening.
Take care.
Peace.
Boom.